Hi everyone! As you know, I'm always trying to take ready-made items and create custom-made items for a fraction of the cost. So I had this amazing old cabinet and it had angled drawers. I reached out to a company that made custom-made silver flatware liners and it was $350 for this small drawer. So I found these ready-made silver flatware drawer liners for only $29 online. I'll list a link down below. So now I'm going to get out my crafty little tools and I'm going to deconstruct this ready-made flatware holder and make it fit inside the drawer with really cool custom Tiffany Company vintage tags that I purchased online. So here we go. Let's take this thing apart. So the first thing I'm going to do is take out the old staples that hold the flatware bars, and unfortunately when you take them out it does kind of damage the felt, but we're going to address that at the end. So now I'm going to measure the longest sides of the drawer, mark it with my white chalk all the way down the edge. So I'm creating the square first and then I'll address the angle. So if your drawer isn't angled, just skip this part. So now that I've addressed the longest sides of the rectangle, I'm going to mark the shortest sides of the drawer to find my angle. And then I'm just going to draw a line from edge to edge. And that's my angle. I always double check all my measurements when I'm finished just to make sure before I cut it. Now I'm pulling back all the edges and I'm pulling off the felt flap covering, and I did not pull back the angled edge, so I thought I could just cut through, but I found out later it made kind of a mess, so I addressed that later. So now I'm just going to take a razor blade, a utility blade, and I'm just going to score over and over across the lines, and then that makes it easier to saw if you have a line already cut. And then I just kind of took a hammer and just hammered off a few of the little straggly pieces. It all gets covered with felt, so it's totally fine. Now I'm going to fold over the edges, and before I completely put it back together, I just need to make sure that it's going to fit in the box. Yes, it does. So exciting. So now I need to decide where I'm going to place my little flatware holders. So I'm going to set them in the box, then I'm going to place my silverware in the drawer and figure out where they should be. Now I'm only putting spoons and knives in this drawer. Next I'm just going to mark where these little holders go with some tape, and that way I will have the exact location of where to glue them down in a little bit. Voila! Now we'll take out the insert and we'll glue the edges down and get this beautiful project finished. Now because I decided to cut this angle without pulling the fabric back, it's all frayed, so now I'm just going to glue down a piece of felt that I had cut off earlier. It's just a scrap piece. Glue it on backwards, fold it over, and just glue it down, and that'll just give a nice little finished edge. So that's a good way to repair anything you messed up. Now we're just going to take the fabric that we folded around backwards to cut the project. We're going to just fold it over and glue it down with hot glue. I love hot glue. I'm telling you, there is not a project I've ever had that hot glue did not work for. It's like my favorite thing. So now I'm going to glue down the silverware holder bars. I use a lot of hot glue for this because you really want to make sure that it stays down securely. You could staple it again, but why? It's not like it's going to be moving around. So a lot of glue here. And I set it down gently for a minute so it doesn't squeeze out the edges. Let it set, and then I slowly start pushing because you don't want it to come out the edges. Once it does, it's all over. So there we go. They're on, and now we need to fix the areas where the staples are showing through. So here's my Tiffany bags that I purchased online. I got them on eBay, under $10 a piece. They're vintage. I hate to tear things vintage up, but you know what? It's going to work great. So I'm going to put down tape for the sizes that I want them. And then I'm going to use my hot glue again. And I'm just folding the edges backward to make a nice little finished edge. That way it looks like it was sewn. And then I'm going to just glue them down, keeping the tape on. And then I'm going to glue down this little brown one that I made. That's just going to be invisible. And now I'm going to glue back down the flap. It's a little longer than it needs to be because we shortened it. So I just make a little dart on the one end. See, it's just gathered. You can't really tell once it's in the drawer. And the back isn't totally beautiful, but it's on the bottom and you'll never see it. So now I'm going to slowly peel off the tape that's on my felt squares from my vintage Tiffany felt. Then I'm going to cut out the Tiffany label and I am going to glue it down on my felt so that now I have a beautiful custom Tiffany & Company silver drawer liner. Look how pretty that is. And I'm going to put it back into my cabinet and look how gorgeous this is. All protected, my silver won't tarnish, and I did this for $35. Isn't that fabulous? I'm so excited. Now I'm going to do the other one. So stay tuned for my next DIY money-saving projects. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell so that you can be notified of any new videos. I love you, my crafty friends, and I'm so excited to share this next video with you. I'm going to be taking a junky old closet and I'm turning it into a beautiful office with painted finishes, and you can follow along as I paint vintage roses and words on the walls. It should be really fun, so stay tuned.